Thank you for joining me today, and I apologize for our lateness, but we're a little bit sooner than 10:20, so that's a good thing. Um, uh, First of all, today is the International Women's Day. So we not only celebrate women in Savannah, we celebrate women worldwide. Um, Imagine a gender equal world, a world free of bias, stereotypes, and discrimination, a world that is diverse, equitable, and inclusive, a world where difference is valued and celebrated. Together, we can forge women's equality, and collectively, we can break the bias. And that's the theme of International Women's Day. So we're committed to do all we can to break the bias. Um, Also, we continue to have our hearts and minds with Ukraine and the Ukrainian people, um, to watch what's playing out, not only the brutality of Russia, but the heroism of the Ukrainian people. Certainly, we have members of the Ukrainian community here in Savannah, and so we support them, and then we certainly pray for our leaders. No decision is an easy decision. I know we all have our thoughts about what should happen, but with every action comes a consequence of that action. And so certainly we are part of a world community, and so I think we have to act in concert with that. So we continue to pray for the best and continue to be supportive where we can. In the good news department, Savannah has a lot to be proud of. Matter of fact, today, if you join me at Savannah Airport around noon, I might take a flight to LA. So we're excited about what that all means, and you'll find out more today. Also, on the sports front, shout outs to the Savannah State Tigers, who upset the top-seeded Benedict College to win the SIAC championship, meaning they won an automatic bid to the NCAA Division II tournament as the 8th seed, and they will play top-seeded Nova Southeastern in Fort Lauderdale on this Saturday. Go Tigers. Quite simply, Nova Southeastern better be real careful. We like knocking off top seeds. We also salute the Savannah State Lady Tigers, who didn't get as far as we would have hoped, but they were the SIEC championship runner-up. So congratulations to them. And their season is not over because they earned a ticket to the big dance as the 8th seed, and they will play top-seeded Union College on March the 11th in Jackson, Tennessee. And so we say go Lady Tigers. And we're also cheering for the Windsor Forest High School boys basketball team, who will be playing for the Class 3A Boys State Championship. And we wish them the best against Cross Creek High School, who defeated our own Beach Bulldogs. And so I have some real issues with Cross Creek High School. But I am hoping, although Beach did a great job, they didn't make it as far as they would have liked. But we're hoping that Windsor Forest will avenge that loss and will bring the championship home to Savannah, where it deserves to be. And last but certainly not least, big shout outs to the Savannah Pals basketball team, the newest on the scene and champions on their first season out, undefeated, 6-0. And take my predictions, in about 15, 20 years, these kids are going to be playing in the NBA. So my congratulations to Chief Mentor, Major Devon Adams, Magic Mark Dunstan, Barry Lewis, our parents, and everyone engaged with these young people. More great things are expected from our PAL program, and so I'm just excited that 6-0. I mean, we can't be stopped. We might be playing Windsor Forest next. We'll see how that goes. As a reminder, we are now entering a new phase in the COVID-19 pandemic. Our COVID numbers continue to improve. Our community transmission index, as of yesterday, is 109. By comparison, it was 3,200 in January. Our positive test rate is now 4.8, which, if you look, is considered the low range, and we earned a green graph. Vaccines, boosters, and tests are now widely available, and we now have effective treatments for COVID-19. And be very clear, we cannot eliminate all cases of COVID-19, but there are tools that help us to adapt to this new phase of the pandemic. Our focus clearly is shifting, and the priority now is to protect our healthcare systems from being overwhelmed and to limit severe illness from COVID by protecting those at the highest risk. So using a combination of metrics, the CDC has developed a COVID-19 community level, which gives every county in the United States a ranking of low, medium, or high risk. And you can find the level for any county in the United States on the Coastal Health District's website at coastalhealthdistrict.org, coastalhealthdistrict.org. Today, thank God, Chatham County is fortunate to be in the low category. And many folks have worked and prayed and sacrificed to get to the day where we can say we're in the low category, so we're there. And so in this circumstance, again, masks are not needed in most settings, although you will see me wear masks from time to time. A, because I have a bunch of them, and B, because it helps with my sinus issues as well. As a whole, our mask mandate expired, and I've chosen not to renew it for the time being, based on the metrics, based on the numbers. So there could be a time when we move back into the medium range, and then those recommendations will change. So we could take a break from masks or other measures when things are better, and we reach for them again if things are getting worse. To me, that is the best and most sound and prudent way to handle this. It's based always on the science. There'll still be people at a higher risk who will want to take extra precautions regardless of their community status. Our goal is to prevent severe illness and hospitalizations, and we know the vaccines will do this even if you become infected with COVID-19. And as I've said before, I'm someone who, I don't know how, but contracted COVID-19, but yet was fully vaccinated and boosted. My experience may have been much different had I not been vaccinated and boosted. So with our new COVID-19 community levels and following the guidance at each level, this can help us get to a point where COVID-19 no longer disrupts our daily lives. So this week, in the ongoing saga of hotel motel tax, I heard from some news reports that it was thought that it would not go forward this year. I've heard from some of our representatives since that say they're still pushing. So our position is we'll wait and see. Again, it just makes no sense to me if other delegations are going hard for their cities, why our delegation doesn't go hard for our city. You will not find a Savanian in our community that will say, well, we feel that hotels are not making enough money. You will not find a Savanian who will say that that tourism needs to help pay for some of the things that we want to improve our community, both for residents and for tourists. You will not find a Savanian who will say that this opportunity to do what other municipalities have done throughout the state, over 90 of them, to include Thunderbolt, to include, I heard Liberty County and Hinesville, to include the speaker's own area. That's what I was looking for, really. Thank you. And it's green. Look at that. Thank you. What y'all put in this? Just water. Just water? Okay. You won't find a Savannaian that will say, you know what? I don't think we're paying enough taxes. Let's pay for more. This is something that our entire community is unified on. It is something that our entire council is unified on. The entire council felt and voted that this was our #1 legislative priority. As a matter of fact, we've tried. This is the 3rd time we've tried. And we were promised last year that this would be the first thing on the agenda this year. And so again, I'm asking our delegation, all of them, to do what they have done for Thunderbolt, to respect the wishes of those who sent them, to be able to create an opportunity for Savannaians to be able to improve their community through the generosity of those who visit here. We recognize being worldwide host, it takes a lot of money, and certainly it is a big haul to make sure that our community is hospitable. And again, these funds are used for what's called tourism-related products. So it has to be used in a certain category of projects. And so we just want equity. We just want to be treated fairly. And so that will continue to be my clarion call. Treat us like you treat everybody else. Again, Thunderbolt went through and there was just no issue. Again, Liberty County is going on. Again, I'm hearing and we're seeing communities across the state where their delegations are making this happen because it makes sense. And here in Savannah, where we can really, really benefit from it, it's just an issue. And so this is the 3rd time around. And each year we keep getting pushed off. And so I don't think that's a good thing. I don't think it's fair to the residents of Savannah. And certainly I'm calling on Savannaians to make sure that their representatives know that this is an opportunity for us, and I don't want us to miss it. I want us to be done in 2022, right now. Let's get it done. It requires 4 votes, 2 senators. Let's see who's for it, who's for us, who's working with us, and let's get it done. So we'll give you the next installment next week as the sales tax turns. To celebrate Women's History, as you know, the city of Savannah is doing the big thing all month long. We have gotten good at this. On our TikTok account, City of Savannah, I now have a TikTok account. I don't know how to use it, but I do have a TikTok account. But I am following the City of Savannah. That's all I know who to follow right now. So they'll help me do this. But we're featuring special stories all month long. And just as we did during African American History Month, we will be sharing the expansive stories from the city's archives. And we want people to look as we salute women in Savannah, women who have impacted Savannah. And we're excited about this. These videos will post to TikTok every Tuesday in March. The City of Savannah's TikTok account, which is at City of Savannah. And then we will post them on Facebook and Instagram later in the day for all the older folks. And we look forward to celebrating the diverse history of women and the diverse history of our community. As we become more equitable, as we become more diverse, as we become more beloved, we recognize everyone's story matters. And so we will be sharing those stories. This past weekend, green was in the air, and I was fortunate to be present at the investiture of the 2022 St. Patrick's Day Parade Marshal, Daniel T. Powers, and I look forward to being present at the greening of the fountain this Friday and St. Patrick's festivities throughout the coming week. And we want to remind everyone that there are some changes to next week's St. Patrick's Day celebrations as compared to last St. Patrick's. These changes include an expanded to-go cup zone to benefit more of our businesses, to help more of our businesses to win, a prohibition on out-of-town motor coaches within the expanded zone, and limits to right-of-way permitting activities. And as a reminder, we are having a meeting with all bars and restaurants in the St. Pat's to-go zone that have an alcohol license. And so this meeting is scheduled for this Friday, March the 11th at 2:30 p.m. At the Coastal Georgia Center Auditorium, and you should have received a letter already with those details. If you have not, the meeting is Friday, March the 11th at 2:30 p.m. One area we have been keenly focused on for St. Patrick's Day is cleanliness throughout our city. And so tomorrow, city staff will hold a briefing for the media at 3:00 p.m. to go over specifics surrounding our plans for keeping the hostess city clean and mechanisms in place to hold those who are littering accountable. Remember, we want everybody to have a good time. We want everybody to have a great time, but we expect everyone having a good time to respect our city, and we want them to respect the citizens of Savannah. And so I definitely want to thank the members of Team Savannah who, for them, this is their Super Bowl. They do this all year long. They work hard. They put forth the thought. They consider every possible instance or what if, and so we thank them so much as we return to where we are. From matter of perspective, I've been mayor. This is my 3rd year, and I've never been in a St. Patrick's Day celebration as mayor in terms of the parade. And so I'm looking forward to this as well. I'm going to have a lot of fun. But speaking of fun, and again, I am working really hard on the city manager, our Department of Fun. I mean, it's his choice, but the Department of Fun is gearing up for this year's summer camp programs. That's right. It's only March, but we're gearing up for fun for our young people this summer. And so we want you to mark your calendars for April the 1st. And that's the first day to sign up for your child's preferred summer camp. And slots are sure to fill up fast. And so again, parents, don't wait till June 1st. If you wait till June 1st, all of the fun in our Department of Fun, all those slots are going to be filled up. So April the 1st is the first date. That is not April Fool. Go ahead and get signed up. And this is also a reminder that our great Savannah Community Cleanup is just around the corner on March the 26th. As a reminder, this is an opportunity where our residents, businesses, and local community organizations come together to help clean up our city. So that is the great Savannah Community Cleanup, and we're excited about that. And we're asking everybody, individuals and groups, religious groups, civic groups, fraternal groups, school groups, everybody can help. If you and your group would like to participate, please visit savannahga.gov/Great Savannah Cleanup. savannahga.gov/Great Savannah Cleanup. This week is Savannah City Council Week. It's our first meeting, so it's our 2 o'clock meeting. And of course, we're doing a whole lot, and we're looking forward to that. During our workshop, it will be part 2 of Chief Roy Minter continuing his presentation to the Savannah City Council, and so Chief is queued up and ready to continue talking to the council and our community about public safety, and particularly what the Savannah Police Department is doing. And we'll also talk about our investments in affordable housing, more particularly the big moves that we're doing to address affordable housing from our standpoint. And in our regular meeting, we will consider finalizing purchases related to St. Patrick's Day, and we will consider renaming Yamacraw Art Park to Yamacraw Square. Again, heightening this park to what we call square status, which is important here in our city's history. We will also consider approving a partnering agreement with the County Wexford in Ireland. And this is in advance of their visit to Savannah next week. We'll have a bunch of Irish folks here. I just left the World Trade Center meeting, which was part of the reason why I was a little late. And so we'll have Irish delegations here, and we're looking for ways to help amplify our relationships with County Wexford, with Ireland people. Georgia Southern has a brick and mortar campus there. They'll have students there, and again, we're looking forward to furthering that partnership. In addition, we will have several recognitions during our presentation portion of our agenda, and we will consider amendments to our one-year HUD action plan for CDBG CV funds to provide affordable housing for some families experiencing homelessness and assisting small businesses impacted by COVID with grant funds. So again, a lot happening in Savannah. Expect some interesting weather over the next couple of days, and then they'll get a little cooler, and then hopefully it'll be sunshine from there. So that ends my prepared remarks, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. No questions? Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So going back to the motel tax, some hotels have expressed concerns that having to provide more or charge guests more while they're still going through recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. What are your thoughts on that?
Really? That's my thoughts about it. Really? 2021 for all of our hoteliers have been their best year ever. Ever. Number one. Number two, our hotels have experienced over 90% occupancy, charging the rates they want to charge, charging market rates. The fact is that, okay, we're all recovering, but what about our citizens recovering as well? Why must we do everything that benefits tourism on the backs of taxpayers? And so, by all indications, our very robust tourist economy is expected to thrive. And the fact is, if you're so concerned, I mean, they're not paying it. This is paid for by citizens. And if you look across the country, if you look across Georgia, when I go to Atlanta, I got to stay in Atlanta. I'm not going to say, oh, well, I'm not going to go to Atlanta because I got to pay $2 extra on a hotel room. I mean, it doesn't make sense. You know, the reality is we go to places, you pay resort fees, and you don't know what you're paying for. This is revenue neutral to the hotels. It is revenue positive for the city of Savannah. And so I think that our delegation should really, frankly, be more concerned about the residents and citizens than they are about the hoteliers. They're getting paid. And so they have a role to play in this as well. And so we're expecting them to be as they've always been, be good community partners. You know, get out of the way, allow our delegation to do what it needs to do for us to improve River Street. Because there's not a hotelier who won't call and say, you got to do something about River Street, you got to do something about River Street, you got to do something about River Street. Well, that's our way. And if we don't have that, then that doesn't happen. And so an improved River Street affects everybody. Tied to town, affects every single district in our city. And it is one of the few ways that we're able to use these tourist-related funds to improve streets, trails, and sidewalks in our neighborhoods. The Waterworks building adjacent to our new arena. Again, we expect a lot of traffic there. Again, wonderful opportunity to use that money to address issues locally with tourist-related product and money. So, I mean, you know, I just think that at some point, everybody has suffered, but I think it's kind of disingenuous for our residents to see hotels packed, and paying premium prices. They're not discounting these rates. I just think they need to help be a part of it. And again, most of our hoteliers have indicated to me they're supportive of it. They understand it, they get it. It's just a few. And I think we have to look at the wishes of the many instead of you know, desires of a few. And I'm sorry, let me get off my soapbox.
No, you're fine. And then with the increase of prices in more than one way, gas, groceries, rent, just what do you want to say to the Savannah community? A lot of residents are expressing concern that it's starting to become a real struggle now more than ever. Kind of what do you are hesitant to look at ways to kind of help residents, or just what are your general thoughts?
There's not much we're going to be able to do about that. I mean, this is a national issue related to national economic forces. that the city has really no way to be able to deal with. I filled up my car yesterday and it was $70. I think I almost had a heart attack. You know, I mean, I'm waiting. It's like, all right, stop, 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 and it wouldn't stop. You know, so obviously we recognize that we have to change some of our habits in the interim period. I believe some people will do that. It is still important to us, particularly here at the city, that we recognize when people suffer, some people suffer more, which is why our efforts at poverty reduction certainly make sense. That's why our efforts at affordable housing certainly make sense and appropriate that we're talking about affordable housing this week. It makes me even happier that, you know, we're at a minimum $15 an hour for our employees, and we had over 8% pay increase for our employees. I mean, it helps them to better absorb it. And so, again, we just have to hope that our national leaders are able to move in such a way to minimize the pain that many people are experiencing as it relates to that.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
So I want to ask, you know, 2 years ago today, it was kind of like the last week of normal life before COVID started. And here we are 2 years later. You said we're in kind of the new era of COVID, and St. Patrick's Day is returning. So I just want to know your thoughts on what this means for the city 2 years later.
I am so grateful to God, because there was a point at which in this that there were days that I just did not know, we did not know if we would ever see our way through it. You know, 2 years ago, here we were at the beginning of administration expecting to deal with the things we were going to deal with, and COVID just totally changed our lives. Our community has certainly felt that pain. We've sacrificed, we've lost, we've mourned, and we kept the faith, meaning that we knew we would get through it. We didn't know how, we didn't know when. There was a point at which we didn't have vaccines and we were praying for vaccines. There was a time when we were looking at testing, we were looking at despair. There was a time when our city was virtually shut down, and now we are starting to show real signs of breaking through this. And so I'm grateful of it, but I'm also very, very cautious, because the fact is that there are also other variants out there. And so we have to remain very careful. We have to remember the lessons that we've learned. And then we have to build resiliency into our city. Since we've learned these lessons, what do we do better now that we know? We are so much stronger and wiser than we were in March of 2020. Our city is much more resilient than we were before. And how do we now prepare in the days of sun for when it rains again? And so, you know, my thoughts going forward is how do we continue to build resiliency into our thoughts, into our actions for the next thing that happens. The weather gets warmer, and you know, soon we'll be looking at hurricane season. Again, how do we deal with those types of issues? I was down at Tybee on Friday with Senator John Ossoff and Mayor Shirley Sessions, again, talking about how not only climate change, but the economic prosperity of our ports affects our beaches and how we have to work to support that. So again, you know, we've learned, we're getting stronger, we're getting better, we're moving forward, looking forward to different days, looking forward to people smiling and being happy and enjoying our city. And I think we deserve it, and you know, it's time to forge ahead.
Sure, and as you talked about St. Patrick's Day, obviously it's about a week out now. Just what preparations can residents expect to see over the next week?
Well, I think the interesting thing about that is that, you know, we've gotten out of practice. So, you know, we expect that a lot of people are in town. That's been our experience really for the last couple of months. People are everywhere, every single day. It used to be, you know, we wait till the weekend, Thursday, Friday. No, it's Monday and Tuesday. People are all over the place. They're enjoying our city. Let's understand that. Let's be patient. Let's be kind. recognizing that people are enjoying our city as we are. We recognize our local business community having staffing challenges. Be patient. Understand people are doing the best that they can to ensure that you have the best experience that they can. And certainly in terms of our city, really being able to ramp up again in this way. But we're confident Team Savannah is up to the challenge.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning, sir.
Good morning.
Question for you about the gas prices, going back to that, how it might be affecting city operations. I know you were around 08 last time we saw gas prices at these levels. Were there any restrictions or limitations on travel for city employees and city vehicles, maybe unnecessary trips that would be mixed, or looking at ways to carpool, things like that to help save some dollars at the pump?
Well, I think fortunately the city builds contingencies within its budget to be able to manage bumps either way. I would suspect that there would be no such thing as an unnecessary trip. If we're taking it, it better be necessary. So I think right now we'll manage it. We'll keep our eyes on it. If we need to make changes, that we do that. Again, it's important that our city is present in the places that we need to be. Our city council is headed to D.C. to the National League of Cities next week. Again, important for us to be there, be present. It's important for us to make these legislative connections with the nation's largest organization for cities. And we're looking forward to that. We haven't done that since March of 2020. Matter of fact, the week before everything kind of happened. So, we're keeping our eyes on things, and the city manager will make the necessary recommendations as we see fit. Right now, we're in the first quarter of the year. We'll be okay.
And back to hotel tax. I know you mentioned that council as a whole was on board with making that adjustment, increasing that tax.
No, the city council was on board and making that our top legislative priority this year.
Legislative priority. So safe to say the majority, though, are on board with
Absolutely.
pushing that through. What city council might not be in agreement on are projects where those funds would go. Do you think you'd make a stronger case for a local delegation if all council members were on the same page with what projects would be prioritized?
The majority of council, the vast majority of council, agreed on what these projects should be. The delegation doesn't always agree. The General Assembly doesn't always agree. Rarely are things unanimous, yet you move forward with the majority. And so if the majority of the 9 individuals here have spoken, the city has spoken affirmatively. And so, again, I really reject those types of arguments, trying to say, oh, well, if all of you were, no. The fact of the matter is this is 3 years into this. This is also the end part of the Deloach administration. And so the fact is the city of Savannah has spoken in a very clear voice. Again, in terms of individual projects, again, we'll work those things out. But it also, I think, we have to be very clear about what the legal standard is. Tourist-related projects. And so the state is very clear in that definition. And so, some council members don't necessarily understand that. Some have been mentioning things that are not considered tourist-related product. And so, we would expect that our delegation respects the will of the majority of our council, who speaks for our city. That has not changed. And the fact that the council decided that this was our primary, and this was unanimous, the primary legislative priority shows that although we might disagree internally about what the money should go to, we all believe that our taxpayers desire and should have that money. So, our delegation, the four representatives and 2 senators, should go ahead and heed the wishes of the city of Savannah, heed the wishes of our taxpayers who need some relief to be able to get some of the capital things done that we need done in this community. I don't know what is so difficult about that. I mean, I see them operating in areas outside of, perhaps of their purview and other things. I mean, this is something that fits squarely within their purview to do, and that is to heed the wishes, heed the will of the taxpayers of this community, provide us the help by ensuring that Savannah taxpayers do not have to burden all the costs associated with tourism. It is already in the state code to do. We're not asking them even to raise taxes. We're asking them to allow us to change the category by which we collect taxes. We're asking them, quite simply, to do for us what they did for Thunderbolt, what they've done for Tybee, what other folks will be doing for Liberty County and Hinesville, what the speaker's folks did for them in his home district, for every other hub city in our community, for over 90 cities in our state. What's so different about us? What's so different about us? And then whose voices are more important? Is it the majority of our hoteliers, the majority, and our entire council, our citizens, or is it just for a few people who says, oh, well, they could always drop their prices to make up for the difference in tax if that's what they want to do? I mean, I just don't see what's so difficult about that. And it's my job and it's my role to advocate, to go hard for the citizens of Savannah. I know that might put me in a unfavorable position with some of them, but I promise to go hard for the city of Savannah, and I'm going hard for this. And I'm going to keep talking about it every single week. If it doesn't get done, then we'll figure out what we're going to do. But we cannot have our citizens keep saying to us, we want things to happen here, and we have to keep going back to them and saying, we want to charge you more money to be able to get it done. It's not fair.
Thanks.
And good morning, Saria.
Heather?
Okay. So I'm back on that soapbox. Every time I try to get off the soapbox, y'all get me on. Chief Mentor is here. There are some updates that he'll be releasing later on today. So, right? So there'll be some updates coming from him. So probably be advised with just to wait until those come out. But anyway, it's green in Savannah. We're looking forward to green, and we want green and hotel motel tax for our city. We want, as people come and visit River Street, we want them to see a wonderful River Street. It's the funny thing. It's the front porch to the convention center in which the state is putting millions and millions of dollars into. Millions of dollars to expand our convention center to attract more people here. And when they're over there, they look at our front porch. So to me, it's a complimentary investment that we're putting money over there from the state that they should be able to see a commensurate product here in the city that everybody gets to enjoy. Anyway, I'm getting mean looks from my folks, so I'm going to go ahead and leave. Have a blessed day.